Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, a show dedicated to helping you expand your capacity, take your life in every area to an entirely new level, and creating a day and a life by design. Here's your host, Dan Hafner. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Run Your Day podcast. As always, your host, Dan Hafner here, founder of RunWage and creator of this podcast. Today's topic is this: your output equals your input. As always, I appreciate you guys joining. Enjoy this episode. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a parable, or a story, if you will. Yesterday, I engaged in some shenanigans of setting up a pool for my wife. Now, you might ask me, why are you setting up a pool as you're getting ready to move, Dan? It's a great question. Ask my wife. I don't know. I just do what I'd have to do to make her happy. So she goes and buys this pool, right? It's like inflatable pool. It's been hot and humid as shit here in West Virginia lately, and honestly, I'm kind of excited about it. It's some cold relief, and I got it set up. So I'm getting it. Basically, it was weird. I thought you had to like inflate the whole thing with one of those little pumps, those little hand pumps. Turns out you just like basically blow up the top ring with the hand pump, and then you just fill it up with water, and it like just goes up, which is weird because it's laying on the ground, and as you just fill it with water, it just like takes shape, which is weird to me because I thought like you had to like inflate it with air, and I was sitting there watching this happen like, wow, this is really weird. But anyway, I was doing it in my backyard, and it's not very level, but I guess it really doesn't have anything to do with it. But anyway, there's a hose hookup in our backyard, and I didn't really know this at the time, but it's hooked up to also our laundry machine and our kitchen, and it all comes off of that same water line, right? So I get the hose hooked up, I run it over to where the pool is, I turn the water on, and I just let the water run. And I go over there to walk over to the pool to see where the water's coming out, and it's like trickling out. Like, it's not like, when you open up a hose and there's no like handle on it, it like sprays out like with a force. You're like, holy shit, like that's how a hose is supposed to work, right? And this one was just trickling. Like, it wasn't really doing all that much. And I'm sitting here looking at the size of this pool. I mean, it's I don't know, probably 8 feet like in diameter maybe, and like 3 feet deep. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is going to take me all day. This might even take 2 days. Like, this will never, ever fill up like this. How in the hell, like, I don't understand why this isn't working, right? And here's the crazy part about it was, with so many different things coming off of that one water line, like it has that hose hookup, it has that, the dishwasher, it has the kitchen sink, it has the bathroom shower, it has all of that. There wasn't enough power to divert to that hose hookup outside, which would give it more of a more power, right? So the output of the hose water trickling out into the pool was only equal to the power of the input on the other side of it, which got me thinking as I'm sitting here watching this. I'm thinking, okay, progress is progress, right? Progress is progress. This pool will get filled up at this pace, but it will take a long ass time. Like, this will take a long ass time. And you might be experiencing this in some area of your life, right? Like, you're trying to have results, you're trying to get something done, you're trying to build a relationship or build a career, whatever it might be, and you just see like, man, this is going to take a long time, because what you're not seeing is that the output on the other side of that isn't strong enough. Like the output, or I'm sorry, the input, I said the output, the input, the input to those equations aren't getting the output that you want because the input's not strong enough. Do you see what I'm getting at here? Because what ended up happening was I was like, okay, we got like this 100-foot hose. I turned the water off. I unplugged it from there. I took it into our garage hookup, which consistently I know has it's like the only thing where that water line goes to. And I hook it up to the garage one, and I fish it back over through the house, or not around the house to the backyard, and turn the water on. And what do you know? That water starts blasting out like crazy, and it fills up in about a half an hour. So by simply changing the input to a more powerful input, basically, I got a quicker result. I got more accelerated results, right? So I hope you can see where I'm going with the question for this. Where in your life is there like only a trickle of an input? Like you just don't have the capacity to deal with something. This might be inside of your body, right? Like you want to get in shape, you want to be more fit, you want to run faster, you want to run a marathon, you want to bike, you want to do whatever, right? Maybe just lose weight. But the workouts you're doing aren't getting you that result. Well, that's because the workouts probably aren't strong enough. They're not targeting the right things. You're not doing the right behaviors. You're just not going to get that result, right? Maybe you want to have a better relationship with somebody, but the actions you're taking on a daily basis aren't strong enough inputs to lead to a equal and opposite output. There's an area in your life where this is happening. And you just have to think about, okay, how can I connect to a more powerful source of input? Now, this could get spiritual very quick. When I think about source or inputs, I think about what comes to mind is spiritual, right? So, do you plug into a different religion? Do you plug into a different type of meditation? Do you plug into a different coaching method? Do you plug into different podcasts? Do you plug into different audio things or different music channels or something that's going to stimulate a different response, right? Because if you're not getting the output you want inside of spirituality or emotionality or just your overall general feelings, you got to change the input. So how can you connect to a different source, which is going to lead to a different and possibly even better output? So that's my little story for you guys. I know it's a little bit silly, and well, I wouldn't say it's silly. It's just, sometimes it's so funny how I go through my life these days and I just find these things to talk about on here, because when you start to do this type of stuff over and over and you start to experiment and just think about your life differently, you start to see these types of stories and opportunities kind of pop up everywhere. And I hope that's kind of my hope for you, is as you listen to these and as you listen to the daily episodes I put out here, that you start to kind of view things in a different way, and you take lessons from your everyday small encounters with whatever you do or who you engage with or what happens to you and things you do, right? But that's a whole thing for another day. But I'm going to wrap up the show today and just ask you one more time, where in your life is there an input that just isn't working? You're not connected to the right source, the right source of power, the right source of knowledge, the right source of ingenuity, or insert your word here, right? So that's my challenge and my question for you today, and that's a wrap. That's a wrap, my friends. All right, so that's all. I appreciate you guys joining as always. Head over to runyourdaypodcast.com for more information. I got some special episodes coming up for you guys here in the near future, so stay tuned for that as well. As always, I appreciate any reviews on iTunes, because that helps grow the visibility of the show. All right, everybody, that is all for today. Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day. Hey, have you ever thought about joining a virtual run challenge? As COVID-19 continues to upend our lives and change our life routines, finding fresh ways to challenge yourself physically can be difficult. I know I'm having trouble with that. It can also be pretty hard to connect with others and find accountability partners for the purpose of fitness as well. That's why we created RunWage Virtual Challenges. Runway challenges are a new and exciting way to stay physically active and maintain social distancing. Every challenge takes place 100% online, and you can compete against and engage with runners from all over the world. Best of all, they are the only virtual challenges out there which actually reward participants with real cash. That means you have no excuse for staying inactive during this pandemic. So if you've been looking for a fresh and interesting way to stay active and get your miles in, go to runwageapp.com/virtual challenges to join me and the diverse community of runners already competing. That's runwageapp.com/virtual challenges. Can't wait to see you there.